Have you ever imagined an animal that became extinct thousands of years ago suddenly came back to life? Not in a movie, not a fairy tale, but really born again in our present world. We grew up with stories about giant dinosaurs, mammoth or ancient wolf. We can only see in museums or history books. We believe that they are a part of the past. But it turns out that not everything that is lost forever. Last year, a group of scientists in America managed to do something that was once only a dream. They reanimated an ancient wolf from the Ice Age. And this wasn't just any experiment, it was a turning point. The big question is no longer can or can't, but what will happen after this? Dire wolf, or in scientific language Inocyon dirus, are one of the most formidable predators of the Ice Age, roaming the North American landscape tens of thousands of years ago, long before human civilization. Weighing up to 70 kilograms and a body 25% larger than a modern gray wolf, the dire wolf was not just another wolf. They were dangerous hunters with powerful jaws and teeth designed to tear into the flesh of their prey. But despite their toughness, they were unable to survive extreme climate change and the loss of food sources in the late Pleistocene. As a result, the dire wolf was declared extinct around 10,000 to 12,500 years ago. Interestingly, despite being completely extinct, their popularity has actually increased in the modern era. The Game of Thrones series introduced the figure of the dire wolf as the loyal guardian of the Stark family, a majestic creature powerful and full of symbolism, but now the figure is no longer just fiction. Scientists have brought them back to the real world. The wolf's resurrection is not the result of magic or science fiction. It is the culmination of advances in modern genetic technology. U.S. biotech company Colossal Biosciences is leading an ambitious project called the extinction or the revival of extinct species.
Colossal
Biosciences develops cutting-edge technology to protect biodiversity and reverse habitat extinction.
Scientists began this mission by extracting ancient DNA from a dire wolf fossil that was more than 10,000 years old. The DNA was then analyzed, refined, and combined with DNA from living species that have genetic similarities, in this case wild dogs and modern wolves. The next process is cloning.
Cloning is actually a scientific process known as somatic cell nuclear.
They inserted the genetic material into an egg that had been emptied of its nucleus and then implanted into the wombs of surrogate mothers, resulted in 3 new dire wolf individuals born in October 2024. 2 males named Romulus and Remus, and 1 female named Khaleesi, a tribute to legend and popular culture. This new milestone marks the first time a creature that has been extinct for thousands of years has walked the earth again. Scientifically, this project is part of a much larger mission of saving ecosystems and understanding the limits of human ability to reconstruct nature. Colossal Biosciences calls this project a form of active future conservation by bringing back species like the dire wolf. The researchers want to recreate lost food chains and stabilize degraded wild areas beyond that. The experiment is also a stepping stone for other extinction efforts such as the mammoth or the dodo bird. The technology used could pave the way to repair environmental damage and even save species that are now close to extinction. The answer is not just nostalgia or scientific hype. This project is part of a much larger mission to save ecosystems and understand the limits of humanity's ability to reconstruct nature. Colossal Biosciences calls this project a form of active future conservation by bringing back species like the dire wolf. The researchers want to recreate lost food chains and stabilize damaged wild areas. More than that, this experiment is also a stepping stone for efforts in other extinctions, such as the woolly mammoth or the dodo bird. The technology used could pave the way to repair environmental damage and even save species that are now almost extinct. But this move also raises ethical questions. Do humans have the right to decide who lives and who dies? Although it looks like a dire wolf in its dashing and fierce form, there is one big question: whether this one born is really Inocyon dirus, the ancient wolf? The answer is not entirely, because even though scientists managed to combine wolf DNA from fossils, the fact is that they do not have an intact genome. Some damaged parts were lost in time, so scientists had to patch the gaps with parts from nearby species, such as gray wolves and wild dogs, meaning that the creatures born are not perfect replicas, but the result of engineering a mixture of ancient and modern DNA, so they are not pure clones, but more like a new version of wolf. Quite creepy, maybe quite Authentic, it depends on our perspective. Philosophical questions also arise. If the form is similar, the behavior is similar, but the genes are slightly different, is it still the same creature? But behind the scientific euphoria, there are big ripples in the world of ethics and conservation. Many people are questioning whether we are saving nature or playing God. Concerns arise from various angles. What if the revived species become invasive? What if they carry ancient diseases, and more importantly, do we really understand their role in the modern world? Some of these people are also questioning whether we are saving nature or playing God. Some ecologists warn that too much focus on extinction could divert attention and funds from efforts to save extant but endangered species, while supporters see this as an important step not only to learn from the past but also to make amends for human mistakes that led to extinctions in the past. Hence, the rebirth of deer wolf is not only a scientific achievement but also a call for reflection on how far we are prepared to go in manipulating life.